What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing you Ravens content every single day. If you want to see that daily Ravens content, make sure the subscribe button down below. And boy, do we have a doozy. Never thought I'd say that to start off a video, but news came out about the supposed representative, the person going to teams trying to get Lamar Jackson to, teams to make offers to Lamar Jackson, all that stuff. We'd heard about there's someone going around. We got his name. And some information has come out about it because basically this all started when the NFL Players Association put out a memo saying that there is a person going around it wasn't from the NFLPA, it was from the NFL, to all of the teams, saying basically there's somebody going around to teams trying to get them to negotiate with Lamar Jackson. Do not negotiate with this person. They are not a certified NFL Players Association certified agent, which according to NFL rules, to negotiate a contract on behalf of somebody must be done by an agent. You have to be certified because they don't want somebody going in there and making a mess of things. They want somebody to go through the proper channels. So they sent it over, and all of a sudden that got leaked. Because anytime the NFL sends over a memo, it gets leaked. And in that memo, it had his name. And first off, I just want to say, including his name sucks for him, because people are going to come after him. People are going to hound him now to try and get any information, because it seems like, hey, he's got some insight on Lamar Jackson and what he's looking for. And I just think that that's kind of wrong that got out there. But at the same time, the NFL, when they issue statements, it goes to the press every time. You can't issue a statement without it going to Rappaport or Pelissero or Adam Schefter. That's how it works. But they put that out there, and everybody starts going, oh, so there's somebody trying to negotiate with teams to try and get them to give Lamar Jackson an offer sheet for the Ravens. And we've also heard that this is not connected to Ken Francis, but in part of the reports about a guy going around, talking to other teams, was that they were hearing that he was saying Lamar Jackson is ready to move on from the Ravens. That's the other thing that, potentially he was saying. Now the information has come out, and Tom Pelissero tweeted out, and he said, Ken Francis is a Florida man who most recently was pitching a home fitness invention, is now trying to negotiate a 9-figure contract with NFL teams who are not allowed to negotiate with him. And I think it's really weird, this whole situation, just because it's Lamar's whole thing is he doesn't want an agent. And then all of a sudden it's this representative shows up. And before people start commenting it, I want to get to this. Lamar Jackson tweeted Tom Pelissero, and he said, "Stop lying. That man never tried to negotiate for me." So he's not trying to negotiate contracts, but the reports where he was trying to spark negotiations. He was trying to get them to reach out to Lamar Jackson. And that, again, this is one of the craziest NFL stories I think I've ever heard in my life. Right? If you told me at the beginning of if you told me 5 years ago, right? Hey, there's going to be a superstar NFL quarterback with an MVP. He's not going to have an agent. And people are going to be like, okay, whatever. He doesn't have an agent. In the offseason, he's going to get franchise tag. And people will be like, okay, that makes sense. He didn't agree to a team. No other teams are trying to negotiate with him. And I would be like, first of all, what? And then if you tell me, now there's some guy going to NFL teams to try and convince them, hey, you should try and sign Lamar Jackson. The fact that even needs to be done is ridiculous. But at the same time, again, I've talked about this before. I feel like Lamar Jackson is in such a bad spot, just in terms of the timing of his free agency, or not free agency, but ability to, talk to other teams or whatever. It's reminding me of, people that graduate, at the 2008 recession, right? It's just an unfortunate time, right? You're not going to get the offers that you would have 5 years before, or even 5 years later. That's just not, even though if you graduate college or you graduate high school, like props to you, but at the same time, there's just not that many people looking. And right now, that's the quarterback market. There's not a lot of teams looking for a quarterback that is currently in his prime. People are either looking for aging veterans to kind of be a mentor, or they're looking for young people to like fully rebuild around that are, rookies. So Lamar Jackson kind of got screwed in that respect. But then like I just wonder, again, this is not me saying this is true. Okay. This is me wondering. I wonder if Lamar Jackson told him to do this. Again, I'm not saying he did. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just curious because the only thing that we know is that he wasn't, per Lamar Jackson, he wasn't trying to negotiate contracts. And the fact that it was like, here's this salesman trying to, sell what was it? A vacuum, a technology, something random. Like he was trying to sell a exercise machine. That's what it was. He was trying to sell an exercise machine invention or fitness invention. And all of a sudden he's like trying to pitch NFL teams. Hey, you should go reach out to this guy. Like that is so weird. And there's a good chance. I'm not saying again, there's a good chance. I'm not saying this. I know this and not. There's a good chance like he doesn't know Lamar Jackson. And he was just a guy in Florida, saw an opportunity, and he was like, hey, if I can get a team to negotiate with Lamar Jackson. And maybe he knows him. Maybe he knows Lamar Jackson, but not like in a way where Lamar goes, hey, you should go try and reach out to these teams. Maybe he just knows him and was like, I'm going to go help my guy out. I'm going to go tell him they should go, reach out to him. The other funny part is, not funny, weird. How did this guy get in places? Like, how do I become a guy that just goes up to NFL organizations? Like, I love Simi Fehoko. How do I just like go up to organization and be like, hey, you should trade for Simi Fehoko? There's like no way I'd be able to get like somebody had to be opening doors for him to get in. And we have no idea who was doing that. But somehow this guy went to multiple teams and was telling teams. And this isn't him telling the person at the front desk. Like reports came out that there was someone showing up and telling teams. So someone higher up had to have been speaking with him or at least spoke to somebody that spoke to him to find out about this, to, give it to these sources. But this is not a good look for Lamar Jackson. It's actually, I would say it's a pretty bad look. Even if he didn't have anything to do with it, I think it's a bad look that some person was going out trying to negotiate with you, and now teams are being told that they'll be fined like well over, tens of thousands of dollars for negotiating with someone that, because at the same time, like, here's the thing. Teams don't know what Lamar Jackson's deal is. And not like deal in a bad thing, but like what he's trying to do, right? How he's going about business, right? Only the Ravens know. They're the only ones that have talked to him. So if someone is showing up and saying, hey, yeah, you should go sign Lamar Jackson, they may be thinking in their head from an outsider's perspective, maybe this is Lamar's agent, his representative. He's not an agent per se because he's not certified, but maybe he's their representative. So maybe they're like, oh, maybe we could reach out to this guy because you don't know. You haven't talked to Lamar. And if you don't know, maybe you start trying to talk numbers with him. And all of a sudden, now you're in bad territory. So these teams are now going to be more hesitant, I feel like, to reach out to Lamar Jackson, which again hurts Lamar. And I don't know if this was his doing. I don't think it was his doing. I doubt he would just like send this guy in to like negotiate. That would be really weird. But the fact that someone did it is hurting him, I think. And I don't know how to. I honestly don't know how Lamar Jackson can fix the perception, I guess, of maybe the NFL or perception of media or fans. Like, I would say he could get an agent and maybe that would fix it. But at the same time, I don't want to force him into doing that. I don't think, I'm not going to be someone that's like, well, if you get an agent, everything's going to be fixed. You can do it without an agent. That's fine. but you got to figure out how to get people to give you a contract, which is insane that people are having. He's like not getting offers, right? Because if you think about it, if Joe Burrow, if Josh Allen were tagged and other teams could negotiate, I guarantee you people are reaching out to them, right? Even Jalen Hurts as well. I guarantee people are reaching out to him. But for some reason, Lamar Jackson is just like, why? Why isn't there any traction? And I think it's great for the Ravens. As a Ravens fan, it's great for them, but it sucks for him. And you don't want players to be in a situation like that. And, he gambled on himself. And even though it seemed like he won at the end of the regular season, it was like, man, the Ravens are really bad without Lamar. They need him. He's going to get paid. Now it's looking like, how did he lose? And it's still a long way to go in the contract negotiation. Still a long way to go in free agency in the offseason. He could still very well get a massive deal and have won in the betting on himself kind of ideology. But so far, it's like, okay, now there's this guy showing up trying to negotiate or trying to spark negotiations, and teams may get fined for talking with him. And Lamar's now tweeting, and he's like, no, I didn't talk to this guy, but the NFL put out a memo. It's like, this is the weirdest contract negotiation offseason of my lifetime. Maybe in the history of the NFL. Because so many just weird things are going on. And not connected weird things. Random sporadic things that are just popping up. Or it's like, oh yeah, here's this guy showing up. And you're like, what? Why? First of all, why are people having to sell teams on the idea of making a contract offer to Lamar Jackson? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below your guys' thoughts on this whole Ken Francis story and Lamar Jackson. And I will see all of you again tomorrow.